Welcome to Slade TV. Your boy is back with another Market Watch video. Now, for the first part of my first Market Watch, we did I guess we could call it, we'll do it month by month, right? So part one of the August Market Watch was basically the high-end cards. And now let's kind of like look through the lower end, and by lower end I don't mean cheap, right? These cards are still pretty expensive. Let's kind of make our way through the remaining cards, right? The remaining alt arts. And yeah, I think a really good place to start is right here at this Jewelry Bonnie and then this Reiju, because how the turntables, right? Jewelry Bonnie championship one was sitting at around $80 3 weeks ago. Reiju was sitting at around 35 to $40. Of course, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I did an RP Law ban reaction because I was an RP Law player. Past tense was, right? Definitely looking for a new deck right now. I might go back to Reiju. That was my first deck. That's besides the point. So this is basically, let's talk about some prices and basically post ban list, right? And no Annie's lobby, no RP Law. Let's see how the market has shifted. So I find this celebration pack Bonnie going down a little interesting. I didn't foresee her price staying up, but I feel like she was at $80 or something, like not too long ago. Reiju, first of all, I'm just very glad I scooped this leader a long time ago, back when I used to play the deck. But yeah, so many verified sales. Either people are just buying this card out in anticipation of the market, or everyone's just panic buying, right? Panic buying's a real thing too. If Reiju's gonna run the meta, which I don't know if she is. I don't know. I think people are getting hasty. But it's a good deck. And the only thing that was holding it back was RP Law. I think RP Law was holding a lot of decks back. Wanted poster, Luffy. This is just one of many. This is the SP of the Rush No Blocker. Think it's a calm price. The wanted posters are all very nice. Some people don't like them, I've seen, or don't prefer to run them. And okay, Gecko Moria. We could talk about that one, right? He was basically one of the main cards on the chopping block, and he had dropped down to $40, and now he has kind of made his way to $78. This was expected. Gecko is an absolute staple and probably one of the strongest black cards. Thanks to him, every black deck is single-handedly a contender. And yeah, he's a game-changing, game-breaking card. No reason why this should have ever dropped outside of the stipulation, right? So yeah, he's back, and he's probably just gonna stay at this price. Next, we have the Zoro OP01 parallel. I personally have 3 of these that I used to run in my RP Law deck. I was contemplating selling them, but to be honest, I think this is fine. He was at 60 something earlier, and he's just back at the regular price. A lot of the cards in RP Law were just red and purple staples. They weren't exactly locked to Law. It was just a bunch of different cards that just meshed with the leader, right? So that's another reason why I'm not really tripping too much. I feel like I'll be able to use a lot of my cards. Let's go down. Okay, Bon Clay. So it was at 60, and now we're getting more verified sales at 69 to 70. He'll probably sit at this price for a decent amount of time, I would say. I think I scooped this at around the 100 point, right? I didn't want to. This was the card I needed to play Law. I wanted all the alts of this Bon Clay before I started playing Law, so I kind of started there. Eustace Kid, he was at 70. He's dropped like $5. I think a lot of these SPs have withstood the test of time, right? SPs have kind of proven to be a good investment as long as you don't pay the sky high for them, right? like Miss All Sunday, she was at 80 for the longest, and with the complete fall off of her even being used consistently in the deck to her SP dropping $10, not bad, right? It's just kind of all contingent on the pull ratios. So this, a lot of, like, every card is down right now. I feel like once this wave of reprints kind of cycles out, all these cards are either gonna, we're at the floor, right? Like I was kind of saying this in last week's market watch as well. A lot of these cards that we're seeing are at their floor, and unless there's like a heavy meta influence, like with like Law getting banned, certain cards getting up, everything else is pretty much gonna stay sky high. Jewelry Bonnie dropping and everything is definitely throwing me off just a little bit, for sure. Because Bonnie is so good, and Bonnie is also going to be a prominent leader moving forward now, because arguably the best green leader, right? I you know what's funny enough, I have a whole Bonnie deck, and it's like half maxed out, but I never played it because I just had so much fun playing Law. Bonnie was like like slower, more defensive playstyles kind of don't mesh with me. I've always, in any card game I've played, any fighting game I've played, anything, I've always just been an aggressive style player. I know defense is the best offense, but I don't know. I just love aggression in the games. So this Otama going down to 46 is as expected, right? I believe this Otama was sitting at anywhere, I think it was 50 to 60, right? It was averaging in the 50 to 60 range for the longest. Yeah, $60, right? Most of the sales. And then now, this is a great time to scoop this, by the way. I think in some capacity, Otama's always going to be prevalent because she's kind of a red staple. Not, let me take that back. She can be run as a utility card in a lot of decks. So it's not the worst idea to have a few of these on deck, especially if you're just into running like higher rarities and stuff. Now, this Sabo alt, I kind of spoke about the manga in my last video and why it's kind of weird that the manga is such a low price, but then for regular alternate arts right now, $59-$60 is pretty high, but it's to be expected. He's probably the only card not getting reprinted in PRB01 that matters. I kind of spoke about this in my Law rant, but Bandai is making very questionable decisions with this game, and as a collector and a player, it kind of like makes me like really question the longevity of this game. I'm curious to think what you guys think about the longevity of this game, and you know, games that you've seen come and go, because I've really only played Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest. So just in long term, it just feels like kind of like society nowadays, right? Where everything is just so hyper accelerated. The dopamine, like life, everything is just like very fast paced and like accelerating quickly, evolving quickly. So even the state of the leaders, the game, the play style, like everything's evolving, which is why banning Law didn't make sense, to be honest. It didn't make sense to ban a leader that was going to just be normal in the next meta, right? OP09 with all the decks dropping. 48, what a great time to pick this Yamato up. I mean, you get this at 85% cost from Facebook Marketplace or something and pay close to 40. What a great price considering the pull ratios for the SPs in OP05. I can't stress this enough, guys. I said this in my last video. If I'm going to give anyone advice as a friend, do not buy OP05. I'm just saying that as a friend. I'm not even saying that as someone who's trying to create content, or I'm not here trying to give advice. I'm just like financial advice. I'm just giving my 2 cents, but don't do that to yourself. Now, my favorite basically my favorite non-manga or crazy high rarity card. This Captain Kid SP to me is my favorite card in the game. He's a absolute staple. This art is so gas. Like it's just like the embodiment of like kid spirit almost. He he might get shit on a lot, but you could just see his aura, right? Like you could see his aura. Like he's down, but he's not out. And I just love the panel in the manga as well, and the art and the colors and the tone. Like I was playing at a locals, and uh, funny enough, it was a law mirror match, and I played this kid, and the my opponent stops the game, and he looks at it, and he's like, "Dude, this card is sick." And I'm like, "I know, man." Like he was stunned because I guess he hadn't seen it in person, and I was like, "I know what you're saying." Like it was a very unfortunate time in my life when I saw this card, and I knew that I was gonna need four of them, and I knew I was gonna pay whatever I had to for them because I can't stress this enough. I'm like promoting this card. I should get paid for this. But like this card is absolute gas. Absolute gas. Alt Art Luffy, he's an absolute staple. He's been sitting in this price range for a hot minute, right? Yeah, he's pretty much we got a lot of sales, and I think that's about right. I think $50 for an alt of this caliber is about an appropriate price. There's a lot of cards on this page that we could talk about. This might be my favorite leader in terms of just artwork. It's just such a, like, the detail they painted. I think they made Yamato a little too pretty, I guess. I feel like she is, but she isn't. Like, they made her very, very feminine. But it's such a nice art. Such a nice art. Such a good leader. It's so crystal. I'm surprised that the price dropped. She started off at 140. No, she started off close to $200 when OP06 came out, and now she's sitting at around 57. I have to scoop one of these up. In hindsight, OP06, man, what a set. OP06 is sleeper gas. I would scoop some of those boxes up. I should, actually. I should take my own advice. Because OP06 down the line, this Ace alt kind of held up its value. He was at like $80. He's dropped. I feel like the story here is everything is down, right? Like I don't need to touch base on that. The SPs being down though, like as much as they are, like the SPs are kind of down to this price of the alts. It's a great time to scoop SPs. If I didn't spend so much money on my law deck, I don't even know what I want to do. Do I want to sell the alts? Do I want to sell my mangas, right? As a collector, I'm not feeling the stability that the game is currently providing to higher end collectors. With the reprinting of the mangas in PRB, fine, low pull rates, and then now you announce that in OP09 you're making a new Luffy and a new Shanks. I get it. The theme is four emperors, right? You literally could have just done Buggy and Blackbeard. I get it. It's the second year set. It's the next set that's the same caliber as Awakening of a New Era, right? They had 3 mangas. This time they gotta have 4 mangas. I don't know what's next. They're gonna do a whole pirate crew, right? And they're all gonna have mangas, but it's a bad decision in my opinion for the collectors. You don't want to oversaturate something that's supposed to be difficult to get. I think just as a business model, no matter what you guys did, people were going to buy all of this product, right? So I just think from a business perspective, it didn't make sense to do the collectors dirty. And I might be being a little dramatic because I know it's not going to impact the values that much. And in hindsight, it's probably going to make the original mangas be worth more. Maybe if they give it a chance. But the game is at a point where there's more than enough product for everyone. Any more reprints and they might scare off all the collectors. And then once it's just players, I think collecting is a very important part of any card game. I'm a collector. and player. Falling in love with playing more, though. I'm not going to lie. Reiju. She was sitting at, let's see. Yeah, she was down in the 40s. I paid around 55 when she was like 65. So this is an absolute staple right here. One can argue this might be the next card to get banned. It's basically a body plus a pot of greed. Most of the times, and especially like you're not gonna play this card unless the situation has been satisfied. So it's just a good card. It's gone up a couple bucks. I foresee it going up a little bit more. Kata is finally dropping. I think as we get closer to any and all reprint sets, including PRBO1. It's only PRBO1, but as we get closer, it's gonna keep dropping a little bit. And maybe an L, if an L cards drop in price, it's funny, Kata is now an L card, right? Because an L has just dominated the market so much. If it's if they're dying down, maybe less people play an L. That would be great. That would be great. This Khalifa dropping down finally. I kind of wanted another one, but I didn't want to pay the price. This would be for the waifu binder. I have one. Kind of want to. Let's see. This is a great card. I think this is like a no-brainer pickup. You could probably get this under 40 bucks. Basically the first Yamato alt art, right? The first Nami alt art goes for 200 bucks. So I think down the line this definitely can be worth much. Flampe is up $10 to $15, huh? Sales at 50? Sales at 50? Are you kidding me? This was in the 30s not too long ago. Yeah, this was in the 30s like 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to think. Black Yellow Luffy, right? Black Yellow Luffy, the roads that have opened up for so many decks without Law being there is kind of insane. I'm actually curious to see how this meta goes. Lucci leader, he was kind of worth not much right away. So, I mean, he's good. He ain't no waifu. And now Gecko might take over. I'm probably gonna need this card at some point for my Nami collection, but like, this looks horrible. This looks horrible. What's next? Nothing I really particularly care to talk about remaining on that page. Anel, 40 bucks. I scooped this up for 30 at a Collecticon. Negotiated it. I do need to get all the SPs. What a nice card, honestly. I'll definitely reiterate that the SPs, that might be the come up season right now. That might be like where you could come up, because you guys have to understand the pull ratio for SPs is very scarce. They're second to only mangas. And this card, yeah, I mean, she was at like 70 for the longest. I think 40 is a more appropriate price. This is a good one to maybe have a playset of, I feel like. It's a yellow staple, and it's a waifu, top tier waifu card. It would never hurt to have 4 of these. Vivi leader, oh yeah, I mean, Perona was in the 30s, so she kind of went up. Rebecca, only going down. That's surprising, because I feel like Rebecca's probably going to be another prominent leader coming up. Boa, yeah, she's just a regular old alt art waifu. Let's see, what was the data? She was originally on drop. She was in the 50s? Seems here she was never in the 50s. Maybe I'm bugging. I guess not. Yeah, this has always kind of been the price, and it's weird, man. I would say like any card that's a staple you could scoop 4 of, but the thing is, it could get pricey. So I like to stick to a couple, like 2-3 colors max. The Borsa art, you saw that Borsa alt, being 35 when he was... This was the price of the super rare not too long ago. Sure, they reprinted it, but that's still insane. And this is an OP02. I feel like OP02 didn't even get like crazy reprints to that extent. Gear 5 Dawn. This actually went up. This actually went up. That's the more interesting thing to look at, I think, right now, right? The cards that are going up. Trafalgar Law, SP, Blocker Law, he's up again. He was trading at like the low 30s. He's trending back up to the mid 30s. I have 4 of this. I'm debating offloading it, but then I'm like, yo, what if I end up running a purple deck that has him as a staple? 4 cost, 5,000 power, blocker, minus a Dawn, make your opponent trash 2 random cards. I mean, come on, man. It's low-key a staple. It's low-key a staple in the right. Holy crap. Wait a minute. He's up to $30. Yo, because Reiju was my first deck, I have like 6 of this. I bought more than I needed just because I love this card so much. Mind you, this card was sitting at like... Bro, I scooped this card for like $8 each. Mad long ago. Not even right now. Like, mad long ago. Yo, there's so many sales. There's so many sales. I scooped this card for like $8, bro. I guess the market price thing was confusing me. Yeah, the fact that this card is at $30 overnight for a $5 card is insane. That kind of makes me believe that anytime I see alt arts that are under $5, I should just scoop them. Just scoop them and hold them. Worst case scenario, you lost out on like a couple of coffees throughout the week, if you look at money that way. And best case, they release a deck or the card becomes meta and all of a sudden, right? Someone scooped 4 of these at 26. Yo, who is selling? Who is selling their Kid Killers at $26 for a play set and then getting like $19 for it after the fees, bro? Like, that's not even... The juice ain't even worth the squeeze at that point. Right? Like, I don't know. Let me know if I'm bugging. But, like, at that point, right? So this is still $29, but the CS version is $50. Something ain't adding up. I mean, more people maybe just want the more expensive one. Cavendish is dropping a little, or... yeah, it's to be expected. I'm sure people are offloading the SR like crazy right now. How much time are we at? 23. Damn. Yo, there's so many cards to talk about that I still only got to the 20s. I mean, yeah, definitely leave a comment. I'm gonna try to hard stop this at 25, but I can definitely do a part 3 and we can go down the rabbit hole of like the even lower priced cards. Maybe we can find some gems. See what the next scoop is. Porsche, I'm so salty. I was gonna scoop a playset of these for like $15 each, and I didn't. And now I'm gonna run SR Porsches because I don't think that she's gonna stay this high for long. But also at the same time, Red Purple Law being banned left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I already have a lot of alts for Reiju. Like, I think Porsche should be the only one that I'd be missing. But I'm not investing into the hype anymore. I'm gonna just chill for a while. I gotta see the state of this game. I gotta see how it evolves, see what the longevity is looking like. Cause this alt being $24 is also kind of insane. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of insane to me. The regular SR Hiyori was more expensive than this a month ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, the fall of these prices is pretty insane. Let's yeah, I think now this is a good place to hard stop it. We'll remember this. We'll remember this checkpoint, right? We'll start at the $15 to $20 mark. What page is this? 15. Yeah. Let's give it another week. The lower priced cards kind of stay in this range. They don't, unless it's Reiju cards. They don't fluctuate that crazy. And the pre-release Ennie's Lobby still being $6. That's kind of it. That's kind of intense, right? You would think it's worth nothing now. But yeah, let me know. I'm curious. What do you guys think? How are you guys feeling about this ban? How are you feeling about the state of the cards? Like, do you think this is what the prices should be? Do you think they dropped too little? Do you think they're all going to shoot back up once these reprints are gone? I'm kind of interested to see where this game goes, just from an observation perspective. I might just be observing the game more, as I'm curious to see the development. So, if you tuned in to this point, you the real MVP, and I appreciate it. And I'm gonna just try to keep making consistent market watches. I don't play the sim, but if people are interested, I'm down to run it on the sim, just a couple games, and post it. Maybe analyze what I'm doing wrong and how to improve. I was going to do an RP Law deck profile just to show off my max rarity RP Law deck, but what's the point now, right? So maybe we'll do a Reiju deck profile. Who knows? I gotta find the time to play test. I gotta find the time to play test. Either way, Slade TV out, boys.